Welcome everybody. So I'm here with Hannah to do a lesson today with the OPTIMOTION and having a lot of fun and hitting some shots, I'm hoping. Some good ones.
Yeah, I need a little tune-up. I just got back from 6 events in a row in Europe, so it would be nice to get a little tweaking, a little checkup.
Okay, sounds good. I mean, you kind of told me a little bit about what you were working on for a couple of years, so we definitely check up on that for sure.
Yeah, my tendencies have always been the same.
Okay,
so,
and what are those?
My main thing that I really hit the ball well when I do it properly, and I really struggle when I don't do it well, is my takeaway.
Okay.
So like I told you, I kind of struggle with my hands moving out and the forearms kind of rolling, and I get very flat. So I hit the ball really well when I feel like my hands are moving more in and the club head is staying a little more outside my hands.
Gotcha.
So that's my main, always tournament feel.
Yeah, and you were kind of describing as the club head getting stuck behind you and everything, and then that results into a shot that's gonna overhook a lot and probably push too, right?
It literally goes both ways, yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's not great.
Yeah, let's go ahead and check up on that, shall we?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so let's go ahead and hit a few. We got everything set here.
So usually I just do like a rehearsal in tournaments.
Okay.
Just feeling like this is a tip that Brad actually gave me a couple years ago on a shoot here at GOLFTEC.
Yeah.
He wanted me to feel like my grip almost hit my right thigh because my tendency is to, this is exaggerated, but
you move
do
the
that.
grip away from your body.
Yeah, so that's like my tournament waggle pretty much now, is just trying to feel the grip hit my right thigh.
And you see a lot of tour players that rehearse their takeaway even just prior to them taking their full swing. So when you're able to do that, and you can see here your club path is sitting about 1.7 degrees in to out, which is really good, and the face close about 1, that's going to produce a really, really straight shot. So for sure we can take a look at just what the takeaway is doing, so that way the club's not getting stuck too much behind you. Cool. So you go ahead and hit another one. I want to take a look at that particular swing there. I want to get a pattern. So we have this really cool rigging and tracking feature. I don't know if Brad showed you 3 years ago, because it wasn't a thing 3 years ago. So we had that skeleton, right? So we have the skeleton, but now we can actually bring up those particular points, and I'm going to take a look at a couple. So one I want to take a look at is kind of the neck and where you are, your lead wrist, which would be a really good one, and also the club. So if we're taking a look at those 3, this is going to be really cool just to kind of show you what is happening on the takeaway. So let's get all of these. I need the neck, the left wrist, and also the club. There we go. So these 3 right here, like I said, are part of the rigging points that we have with the skeleton. So if I just save that and go on back, you're gonna see those 3 points just pop up on your body here.
Cool.
So it used to be the whole skeleton, but now we can kind of pick and choose and also highlight the club, as you see in both screens right there, just to kind of see where it goes. So not only that, we can actually track the movement pattern as well. But you were saying, when you're taking it to just about this position here.
I don't want to look at that. And that feels like I'm exaggerating it, but I know after a lot of tournaments in a row, because I don't get a ton of time of just technique practice, it always gets back to that where the club head is inside my hands in the takeaway. Gotcha,
yeah. So what we're looking at here, if we can align the lead wrist and the club in the side view camera, that's what we're kind of going for. Because I'm with you here. If you have that club pointing to the right of the target too much, that's just getting the club, again, too far into out and just getting that feeling to where the butt of the club is pointing to the right of the target, right? So if you get this position, you're already kind of encouraging more into out. For a player that is of your caliber, you struggle with the overhooks and pushes. So you want to go against that a lot, which makes a lot of sense of just doing it like the best players in the world do it, which is bringing the hands a little bit more inward, but then also encouraging a lot more radial with the wrist, so that way you can keep the club over next to your hands, right? So kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking for. I want to see all 3 of these points be a really good goal for us to get them, as I'll say, like vertically aligned. If we can get them vertically aligned, I think that's going to be a really good start for you.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, so that'll be a really good start. Now let's go ahead and take your take the practice swing that you've been giving yourself a lot, even just pre-shot routine there. Good. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. Now, you're going to go ahead and do it behind the ball for me there, Hannah.
Over here?
Yep, perfect. Now go to your takeaway. Ooh, yeah, and really exaggerate it for me. And I just want to see what the key points actually put when the club's about parallel to the ground, okay?
Do you want me to hit it?
No, don't hit this one. There we go. Perfect. So here's the exaggeration. Let's just check up on this. So we have our 3 points. That club is going to be picked up here in a second. So once you start moving it, there it goes. There's the exaggeration.
At least it's actually exaggerated. That's good.
This is very true. Now, what I really like is something that causes a lot of the, I'll say the pronation in the lead forearm that leads into a lot of the butt and the club pointing to the right of the target. But you've done a really good job, almost like you're supinating that forearm or keeping it supinated for longer. You can say the pronation of the trail arm as much as you can. But if you now draw that vertical line, look at where the hands are relative. So when we first had the very first swing, the hands were on the outside part of that line. So they're not moving inward enough, right? Then you have the amount of radial deviation that your wrists need to do and minimizing the pronation of the lead forearm to keep that club pointed to the left of the target. Almost like you're encouraging a lot more out to in, but somebody of, again, your caliber is going to swing more in to out than out to in.
Yeah.
That's just gonna always happen.
And I always feel like if I swing this way on the range, exaggerated, obviously my natural tendencies are gonna come back in my real swing during the tournament. So like it kind of neutralizes it. If I work super exaggerated to that feel, it's never really that on the course.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you there. Now, can you show me one more? Because I'm just gonna highlight one item here. So an inwardness of the hands is actually associated to how a lot of how you close your turns pretty much. So right here, you're gonna see a yellow number, which isn't bad, but if we're trying to move the hands more inward, I wanna see that closure rate being higher.
Okay.
The tour average, the best players in the world are gonna be around 18 degrees closed with the hip turn. So if we can encourage more closure of the body, the hands are gonna move more inward.
Sick.
Okay?
Yeah.
Your responsibility is to keep your wrists radial and also minimize a lot of the pronation.
Yeah, because my tendency would be like turn the hips and then do this. So if I can keep them here, like you're saying, and then shut the hips a little more, that would be better. Okay.
Yep. Show me a practice swing with that feeling there of you closing the body more with your exaggerated takeaway. Nicely done. Good. Because anytime that we're worried about just the inwardness of the hand path, turn is just so associated with it. Okay? So if we saw a blue number would be kind of higher than the tour average, especially with turns. So that'd be encouraging more in to out or more of an inwardness of the hand path. Everybody that comes to see us are red golfers, and we describe red as out to in, face open, slices all the time. So blue wouldn't be a bad color by this time. And just take a look at the hand path. Here we go. Like I said, you're in charge of say, limiting the pronation of the lead forearm and also with the radial with your wrist, and that'll keep that butt of the club pointed to where you want. But take a look how in the hands are. Now, let's see what color that number is now.
Yay.
31 degrees
At
close.
least I'm actually doing it. That's nice.
So it should be just about 36, right around the time the lead humerus is parallel to the ground. And then at 44 at the top of the swing for how much your hips would close.
So I can do it.
You can, but use some closing of the shoulders and the hips to be able to do this. Even if we're going to that last swing, I just want to take a look real fast at what the shoulder turn was as well. 71 degrees. Again, more of a blue number, which is fantastic. So something that you also mentioned to me as well was the amount of shoulder tilt that you're presenting, especially from the address to takeaway. When you have a lot of the pronation that happens with that lead forearm, that is gonna take a lot, let's say, your shoulder tilt out of the question. Now we need shoulder tilt just to maintain a lot of our inclination that we set at P1. I mean address. So if I bend over with my shoulders and my hips, for me to keep it, I gotta be able to tilt.
Instead of doing this.
And anytime that you have somebody that left arm, the lead arm pronates as early as you do,
Yeah.
That's going to affect your shoulder tilt.
Yeah.
So seeing at 31 degrees leftward, it should be yellow by this time, which is fine.
Okay.
Our tour average by that point in time is about 24 degrees left.
Okay.
So you're actually doing more than our tour average here, which is a good thing for something that you have been struggling with.
Yes.
Okay. So
Perfect.
here's a really good feeling. So let's go ahead and put this together in like a shorter swing.
Okay.
Okay. So you're gonna imagine that you're even going to your takeaway and then you're gonna hit the ball just to see what happens.
Just takeaway? Okay.
Yep. You're gonna probably go a little bit further, which is kind of what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
Okay. But let's just see what happens. Nice.
Okay.
Zero club path.
That's pretty good.
Zero face
Should I
path.
just swing like that?
So let's take a look at our 3 spots. I'm just gonna go ahead and reset that club rigging. There we go. And let's see where that is.
That's so nice.
Okay, so the club's now
So
outward.
nice.
Fantastic, but if we're drawing that line again,
Yep.
where are the hands? So the hands are a little bit too far out.
Yep.
We want to see them just a little bit more inward relative
Yeah.
to that neck.
Like the club head is nice there, but I can see what you're saying because it's like I'm just doing it with the wrists instead of it being the whole shoulders and chest, like you said.
Yeah, move all as one
Yeah.
piece, as a lot of individuals like to say. 17 degrees left, but look at the hip turn.
Yeah.
Went back down to 14
Yeah.
degrees closed. The shoulder turn is in a really good spot there, so I'm not too worried about the shoulders turning. And closing the body, it's about 42 degrees closed is what the best players are at that position. So if we can just increase the amount of closure from just
Yeah.
your address to takeaway, that can bring the hands more inward. So
Cool.
let's rehearse that again. I want even more in. There you go.
Okay.
Okay. Nice. Fantastic. Let's see where the hands were on this side. Ooh, I got a lot going on there.
Whoa.
There we go. Okay. I think we get the idea of the vertical line. So we'll just go ahead and move that. Nice.
Yay, better.
Really good.
Okay, good.
There we go. So you're gonna probably see more of a green number with that hip turn, which is fantastic. Like I said, best players in the world are about 18 degrees closed with their hips by this time. So I like the idea of trying to hit the butt end of the club next to that right pocket, as Brad told you some years ago. but
Thanks.
but I want you to do that by getting your
Exactly,
hip
yeah.
out of the way.
I feel like most of the time in golf, if you're trying to just hit positions, it kind of doesn't work, and also it's just harder. So it makes a lot of sense to me that you're saying the position of my hands is actually connected to like my torso and pelvis movements. And it's a lot easier to do. Like the fact that I can just rehearse it now is really, really good to see.
Yeah, and I'm with you. If you keep trying to think a lot about that butt in the club hitting your leg, you're gonna keep it in the way, but
Exactly.
that will encourage you to keep the hands outward.
Yeah.
So then if you're encouraging yourself to keep your hands outward, here comes that pronation.
Yeah, I just
and then
flip it
you're-
later.
Exactly. So keep doing those swings. This
Okay,
is really
sick.
good. I like that. Nice.
I don't think I did it enough on that.
Let's see. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
the
right.
hands are out. Ew.
It's
Okay,
not-
it's better though than the
Correct.
first swing.
Yep, I'm with you, but not
Yeah.
as good as that last one.
Yeah.
Come on, you got
100%.
one really
I can
good
do
exaggeration
this.
here. There we go. Move your hands inward because
Yep.
of the closure rate of the body. Nice.
That was solid.
There you go. Okay, let's check this out. Ooh.
Best one
Nice.
yet.
Nice.
Yay, okay, good.
Like I said, if we can get that position right there,
Love that.
and look at even the previous swings that you had. Where's that very first one? That was right here.
I don't want to see it.
I know we
already
don't want
know.
to see it, but we kind of have to.
You're right.
There we go.
Yeah, so much. And that was me like that's not even my normal swing under the gun. That's like me trying to do the feel. So I'm sure it's even worse than that in like a tournament situation.
Yeah, especially when it gets down to pressure, you just rely on a lot of old habits.
Or like
which
a
is
longer
fine.
club. Like
Oh,
if
yeah.
it's a 3-wood, of course it's going to be worse than that.
Absolutely. Getting that, let's do our little measurement there. That should be really good, where all 3 points are pretty much right in a row. Fantastic.
So
That's
good.
really
That's so
good.
nice looking. Okay, so I know what I need to work on.
Yep. The big part too is the amount of hip turn that you had.
Yeah.
So again, 15 degrees close is not a bad number by any means, but you can see your 26 degrees close on your after swing. So that'll help move the hands more inward, and also you know what to do now is keep this arm from pronating too much. So keeping like the lead elbow closer to your body for longer, right? Or the butt in the club, that's always a good one too, right? But move out of the way so it can get further into your body by closing the turn.
That seems like something I could actually play with too. I don't need to be just doing it on the range and then be like, okay, now I have to figure out how to play. I can actually do this on the course.
Yeah, I'm with you, for sure.
Yeah, this is awesome. So I still have a couple tournaments left in the season, so this is going to help me a ton in my practice.
Oh,
and finishing
absolutely.
strong.
Keeping the hands inward and finish strong, finish the season strong,
Thank
right?
you.
Awesome.
Great.
Great job today.